Okay, so may she rest in peace. Nation has been a great support. He had to travel back. We'll also be sharing the link to the GoFundMe, link to whatever you can contribute to the same, because he had to rush back on short notice. In the UK, he had to rush back, and now he'll have to go back because he's doing his master's. So that's in honor of Nation. We are together in spirit and in prayers. So as we start today, like Kitinji has said, this is definitely the hottest topic of the week. And no kidding, even we were having a chat just now with the speaker, and one thing we all know is that if you don't do your publicity right, if you don't do your marketing correctly, if you don't put your content out there, then you'll stay with your good tech, you know, your solution can be very good in terms of it works very good tech wise, but if you're not able to find a market for it, then what good is it, you know? So today we are going to, I know as techies, we are not very keen usually on doing our marketing and our branding, but we want to assure you that's a key area we all need to work on, and to make sure that we grow in all different aspects of our lives, both for personal growth and also for business growth. If you have a business, I'm pretty sure all of us here, or at least most of us here, have their tech startups that they're working on. So and we have the best speakers. I'll repeat that again. I'm so excited, Yani. So I hope let me now start our session. I think the introduction has been well and good, and we have a good number to start off with, because we have a lot to learn, and we are hoping to make sure we keep time so that everyone is able to present on time. So I'll start off with Liz. Just give me a second. For members, Kitinji has been able to share an email with all the profiles for the speakers so that you can be able to see what they've done, what they're doing, and what you can learn from each of them, so that you know who you can be able to reach out to on what topics. So Liz Tonjira is currently the Global Communications Director at Amref Health Africa. That is the largest health development organization in Africa. She's also a youth advocate and the founder of the Liz Tonjira Network, a platform that provides innovative, engaging, interactive, and tailor-made training and coaching for youth. Liz is also the author of the book Youth Can. That's a bit of a tongue twister. So a collection of powerful, inspiring, and challenging stories from youth breaking barriers across Africa. So what Liz has done and is doing is making sure that the narrative for African youth is changed, that as African youths, we are not basically just related and what is this called, and just connected to bad things, you know, poverty. So she's trying to make sure that our narrative is told differently out here. So I'll let her go ahead and tell us a bit more about herself, but I'm pretty much excited about this presentation, and I know we are all going to learn a thing or two. So welcome so much, Liz, and you can go ahead now. Wow. Liz, I think you're on mute.
Take on mute.
So as we get Liz, let me see.
Go. There you go. I'm sorry, guys. It's just a million and one things open. Thank you very much, Saltu, for that introduction. I don't know if you can all see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, this is very odd. So this is the first time I'm actually sharing my screen on WebEx.
Oh, okay.
If it does as good as I planned it to. Can you see it now properly?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chaltu. Thank you so much, Kithinji. You guys are doing an amazing thing. If you can, please turn your camera on. I love seeing the people that I'm speaking with. It's always good to have that connection with people. It's the first step to branding. So it's always interesting in a virtual world where sometimes you feel like you're talking to just talk, robots. It's always good to just be able to see the people that you are having a conversation with. As Cheltu mentioned, so if you can, please, I will appreciate you switching on your camera. As Chaltu mentioned, I have been in the marketing, communication, public relations, public engagement, stakeholder engagement, youth advocacy scene for the past 40 years. I started my career when I was pretty young. And for this particular presentation, I'm going to focus on personal branding in a virtual world, because a lot of things have become very virtual. Where since March, a lot of us have had to do a lot of virtual things. And a lot of times people ask, how can I maintain my visibility, or how can people know about my business? How can people know about me, myself as a person, when everything we're doing is in a virtual space, which will continue for as far as, the first quarter of next year, the second quarter of next year. So it's always good to have that. And the first step to that, maintaining that visibility, is switching on your camera. So what is personal branding? Now, branding generally is a marketing practice in which a company creates a name, a symbol, or a design that is, can you guys mute yourselves, please? I can hear someone.
Yeah, there's
So
someone whose
branding,
mic is on. Please, let's find. Let me see who it is so that we can have them switch off the mic. Okay, go ahead. I think they've already switched off.
okay, great. So branding is a marketing practice which is where a company creates a name, a symbol, a design that is easy identifiable as belonging to that company or that initiative. This helps to identify a product and distinguish it from other products and services. Now, personal branding is the process of creating a strong, positive perception of a company, its products, or services in the customer's mind by combining such elements as logo, design, mission, statement, a consistent theme throughout all your messaging and marketing communication. That's why you'll always hear, even colors. People associate colors to a brand. That's why it's very big. Now, personal branding is a conscious, and I want to underline the word conscious and intentional effort to create and influence public perception. And when I talk of public perception, I don't mean the whole world. It could be the area of your work. It could be amongst your peers. It could be in the organization that you work in. So it's the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence public perception of an individual by positioning them as an authority in their industry, elevating their credibility, and differentiating themselves from the competition to ultimately advance their careers, increase their circle of influence, and have a larger impact. So have you ever sat in a place where somebody told you something and you said, that came from Kevo, I don't think it's true, right? Or, do we invite Chaltu to this party really? She's so dramatic and we don't want drama. That is a way, Chaltu, you're not dramatic in any way, but it's a way of identifying already the key personalities of people which really resonate with their own personal brand. Now, when you look at the components of personal branding in a virtual world, it's a convenient way to begin your personal branding journey is to answer the following questions. These questions are really critical to you, even as techies. Who? What are your values? What are your characteristics? Who are you? As Jillian Kerubo, who are you? What are some of the things that you stand for? What are you saying? What is your key message when you're interacting even with your peers? As Anyango, as Keith, as Anthony, as Shadrach, what am I trying to tell people? What is my message? Will they take my message? Will they trust me with that message? To whom? Who am I communicating this? Is it my fellow techies? Is it people who are not in the techie world? So I really need to break down information into something palatable that people can understand, because I know techies use a lot of jargon. So those are some of the key questions you have to ask yourself. Who are your external audiences beyond the people that you work with? What channel are you using to communicate with them? And with what effect? So when you're carrying out all this communication, when you've identified who you are, what your key message is, who your target audience is, and what communication channels you want to speak them to, what is the effect? What are you looking for? If you're a startup, are you looking for them to buy your product, to come for your service? Or if you work in if you're employed, are you seeking a promotion? Are you seeking to advance your career? Are you seeking training opportunities? So those are some of the very critical things that you need to ask yourself. Now, components of personal branding, going step by step, knowing your unique promise or of value. Discover your uniqueness. As Shadrach, what is my unique point of view? As Derek, wait a minute, is it only guys who are in this session? Because, okay, as Esther, what am I really propositioning to people? What is my unique capability? Those are some of the questions that you need to answer. Know your brand community, build your social profile. And this is a very interesting one when we get there, because you need to also know which social media preferences you have. Commit to being visible. Trust me, social media is not something that you wake up and you just tweet haphazardly or you post a Facebook post just for the sake of it. It's always good to have a schedule and be intentional about the things you want to say. It's always a commitment to stay visible and measure the impact of your results. In knowing your unique promise of value or your uniqueness, the business, your startup, what unique value are they bringing? What is really making you stand out, like this red pencil here? You must be clear about who you are, what separates you from your peers, and what is your message. If my startup is around shoes, what will these shoes make me feel? If your startup is around something, an app that I've just developed, what is that app going, what is the end result to the consumer? Visibility has no value without clarity. You have to be very intentionally clear about what you want to achieve. Do the work to get clear about your brand and turn that clarity into your bio. That's why when you Google many companies, look at all multinationals, look at local companies, you will always see a mission, vision, core values. Have you defined that for your startup? Have you defined that even for yourself? One of my biggest mottos is, as I run myself, I always tell myself, who is Liz? What are my key values? What are my core? What is my vision? And these are things that continue changing and organically progressing depending on the stage in life you are at. So you need to define your mission, your vision, your values, and your goals. What does your business want to achieve? Those are very critical questions. Knowing your unique piece of value, if you don't know that, then there's a lack of clarity. There's information overload. You end up sending people information that they don't need. They even end up blocking you. Or if you send them newsletters, they spam you because they're like, Hillary or Jared is sending me information that I don't need. Just know what is that unique value that you have. Then when you know your uniqueness, what you're selling, you're able to move away from distracted communication. And distracted communication is an instance where when you're looking at competitors and you see, oh, Hillary is doing this, oh, Esther is doing this, I need to do that. That's distracted communication. You need to stay focused to what your goals are. That's very critical for you. And you can only do that if you define what is your unique value proposition to people. And how do you make communication effective in personal branding? There are usually 7 C's to communication. You have to be clear, you have to be concise, you have to be concrete, you have to be correct. Always verify the information that you give. I'm not a big fan of people who come up with something and say, the best shoes, the one and only, because it's not. That you're lying to your consumers, and they can pick that up very fast. When you say Kenya's first, have you done your research to actually find out that you're Kenya's first? Yeah. So your information has to be correct. It has to be coherent, meaning it has to be understood. It has to be complete. Have you ever watched something or heard something and you're like, okay, it has ended. It has just come to a premature end. So your communication has to always be complete and courteous. Courteous is something that we always overlook, but you have to be very courteous. If you want to make it in business, if you want to make it in the professional world, you always have to be courteous. And courteous does not mean sitting down and letting people bully you. Courteous means that you can have the capability of diplomatically refusing to do something that somebody, even your superior, has asked you, but you do that in a courteous and diplomatic way. So don't forget the 7 C's of communication: being clear, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous. Knowing your brand community, this is really important, because I find so many people, even as yourself, me as Liz, I need to know who is my brand community. Who do I want to appeal to? Do you want to appeal to every Tom, Dick, and Harry? No, because even when you're dating, you have a type, right? You will go for whatever pleases you. So you've really identified your brand community in that perspective. So even in your own professional branding, you need to know who your brand community is. Your brand community is a group of people who need to know you. And who needs to know you? Are you an architect? Are you in the Architect Association? Do you attend their events? Do you have a mentor who's within the same field who can really help you or pave the way for you? Do you have someone who's passing the baton to you? And, sometimes the challenge with us young people, you reach out to 3-4 people, they reject, they say they have no time, and you give up. No, come up with a list of even 100 people that you need to reach out to. And this includes people like decision makers. And when I say influencers, I mean thought leaders, authorities within that field. And here, when I'm speaking about this, I'm thinking, if it's IT, I'm thinking of somebody who do you know is very good in IT? Who do you know is very good in architecture? Who do you know is very good in communication and branding? Who do you know within the industry is good in all these things, is good in the energy sector, etc.? Peer inside and outside the company, people who might want to work with you one day, etc. So it could also be a peer, somebody. I'm sure you've worked with people or you've interacted even within this group of IEEE, and you're always like, wow, I really like the demeanor of that person. Just reach out and find out how they do it. What are they doing? How do they do it? Just have a conversation, and that's how you start networking. The digital age makes it easy to find and nurture these crucial connections. And I'll give you an example of how critical this is, and I'll try really wrap up this very quickly. I wrote a book. I recently published and launched a book called #YouthCan. The book is about powerful stories of young people across 22 African countries, Anglophone, Lusophone, and Francophone. And these are 50 people. I only knew, maybe 10% of those people. The other 85 to 90%, I actually reached out to them via various social media channels, whether it was LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, which other ones do we have? LinkedIn. Have to be always very intentional. We live in an age where for us communication is easy. It's not during like our parents' time. Now, this is the interesting part as I come to an end. Building your social profile. Know what your social media preferences are. And this is where a lot of young people make mistakes. You'll be more likely to adopt a regular habit of interacting with your brand community online if you enjoy, and I underline the word enjoy, the process. If you like visuals, if you're a person who really likes to take pictures, likes to interact with people, with pictures, consider using Instagram. If you like pithy, witty quips, Twitter is your tool. You can't beat LinkedIn as a place of making your articles visible. And if you like to be in front of the camera, you can start something YouTube to explain some of the work that you do, some of your startup things that you're doing. This can be your best friend. Again, I have to underline, don't feel you need to be visible on every social media platform that exists. You will run out of fumes. You will run out of energy. You know, you will run out of fuel trying to, you're posting on Instagram, you're posting on Twitter, you're posting on Facebook, you're posting on LinkedIn, you're posting on TikTok, you're posting on, which is the other one? I forget the other ones, but there's so many. You have, if 3 or 2 social media platforms are what works for you, focus on those ones, put energy in them, and actually commit to being visible. Strong brands don't go into hiding. Don't be those people who post 1 week, we hear from you again in 3 weeks, another 4 weeks, people are trying to reach you to get your product. They can't because you're very non-responsive, yeah? Strong brands are always visible, they're available, and they're valuable to their brand community. Make a schedule for communicating with your community. It doesn't mean that you need to post content every day. And I'll give you a very fantastic example. Like a month to me launching my book, you have to create marketing. I got hacked on my Instagram where I had, I think, about 15,000 followers. Now, I thought to myself, my goodness, and this was in July. Do you know between July, August, September, October, these are November, about five months, I'm nearly back to my 15K. Because of what? I've been intentional on ensuring that every day I've put a schedule. I post like after 4 hours, after 5 hours, and I put a reminder, oh, you need to post now, because you have to maintain that visibility. Meet people through other people. The best and easiest way to meet people is through referrals. If you go to an event and you leave there without knowing one new person, then you wasted your whole day. You always need, whether that person will help you or you'll get to interact them 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 1 day from now, it's very important for you to always tell yourself, this event I'm going, what is my take home? Who am I going to meet? What do I want to really establish? What is the outcome of me going to this networking event? And then join communities, join lists, join groups, join webinar, like this kind of meetings where people are like-minded, they have the same vision, etc. Now, the benefits of personal branding, go without saying. You build trust, you have much higher perceived value, you have differentiated from your competition, you're always 100% authentic. And remember, just going back to the first slide where I talked about knowing your unique value proposition, so that then you remain authentic to that. You're the go-to person in your area of expertise, and you become an opinion leader or a thought leader around that area, and you attract ideal opportunities. And to show you, I put my money where my mouth is, or is it the other way around? The way you're very consistent in everything that you're doing. These are just examples of, people reaching out because they've seen the brand that you've developed. My LinkedIn is extremely professional. Like I have, it's always about the articles I'm doing, the work that I'm doing, the areas, the coaching sessions that I've had. And this, of course, attracts recruiters. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, please go and have a LinkedIn profile and build that profile. These are fantastic examples of people reaching out, people that I do not know, telling me the exciting new job opportunities, a director of public affairs for a multinational would be interested, etc. And trust you me, these opportunities come by. These are just 3 examples of about 1,000 others that happen. So it's very critical for you to just make sure you know your unique value proposition, who, what, where, when, who is my brand community, what am I trying to tell them, and etc. And to honestly, if you're consistent with that, then you will really, really create a great personal brand, whether it's virtually, online, or offline. Thank you so much. And that's all I had, unless there are any questions, or if we're taking questions at the tail end. I hope I didn't take everybody's time, because I know we were strained on time. Thank you so much. Back to you, Charlton.
Thank you, Liz. So yes, no, you've kept time well. Thank you so much for that presentation. That was very informative and well articulated. I mean, this is good. So for the questions, we are going to have them at the very end of the session. Next, we are going to have Rotich. Rotich, if you can hear me. Okay. As we try to find Rotich. Yeah, there he is. So let me just. So members, today we are speaking on branding, publicity, and marketing. Liz Ntonjira has done a very, very good presentation in terms of personal branding and just reminding us as techies that you need to make sure you put your brand out there, your personal brand, you build your brand, you build your visibility, and make sure that you're able to get the right content as in the different social media pages. So home takers, they're called home takers, yeah. So home takers is you make sure that you don't go posting, your funny videos on LinkedIn. If you want, she's explained it very well, how you can engage on the different social media platforms and how you can make sure that you put yourself out there, correctly so that you can get opportunities are always there. You've seen the kind of opportunities she's getting reached out to. So Ben, I see you've been able to get on. I'll let you go ahead. Karibu.
And everyone you can be able to hear me from the other side. My name is Ben, and I'm going to speak about a brand. And first of all, I should say hi to everyone. And my network is not good to be able to talk with that. So on my side today, we're going to talk about a brand and a brand from a perspective of a business level or a startup and or a business end, not on the end of personal branding. And then also, first before we start, I will be able to introduce myself. My name is Ben. I run a branding company in Soko Brand, and I've been in business for the last branding. And I can share my slide in the can be able to see the screen on the okay. So we're going to talk about a brand. What is a brand? We're going to understand about from the point of starting with what a brand really is, and I'm going to give a different description of what a brand on definition defining a brand. First, we have to understand that as a business level, what do we need as a brand? What is a brand? That is for there are different definitions of a brand. So first is a result of a customer feelings about the service. So this is a result, a general combination of all the impressions that you will be able to get from perspective from the customer and from as business perspective. So it's what people talk about what people talk about in terms of what a business is and what other people talk about. If it is a startup or if it is any kind of business, what people are talking about on the same of the same brand. So it's also attached to emotions and what the brand is the point of people get to get the emotions that you get from the business. So the importance of a brand you get a brand is as an asset you can be able to sell. It gives you the ability to be able to work in different cities. A startup can also give us credibility, lead customer loyalty, consistency, and then attract the lead to the clients. Then I'm going to talk about the process for any startup. Then I'm just going to highlight, because of time, we can just go through the list of what is a brand, the branding process. So first of all, you identify the brand, which you, for example, you identify, if it is a startup, a business, for example, I'm a burger shop. So first of all, you define the brand, define the promise that you're going to do to your customers, define what you are going to give out as a brand, define the core value, the strategy, the drivers to be that will be able to run the strategy. Then the second point, the branding process is positioning your brand. Which your brand is identifying the ideal customer, see the competitors and that are in the value chain that you're running, and also competitors and the value, and then promotion, and also give a framework of what you actually want to do and the actual ideal product you want to sell it. Then on the third point, after you being able to position your brand, you will be able to
Hello,
express
Rotich.
your brand, which is yes.
Ben, let me distract you a little bit. Sarah Amondi, could you please turn off your mic? Just a second. Sorry, Ben.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for the interruption, and we're on the point number 3, which is expressing your brand. Expressing a brand is giving a persona. You make it like a person, give it a name, and then that is the point where you name your business, which is that in the point of expressing your, you give a name, you give it a persona like a person, like when you give it maybe a name, that is an identification. Give a name, like if it is a business, for example, for example, soccer brand, you give it a name, and then the name, then after being able to give a name, expressing the brand, now you communicate the brand, which is build the awareness of the brand, communicate to the right market, and then that is where people come in now in terms of logo, in terms of promotional items, and then consistency, which is most people confuse confuse a lot of branding being the logo and everything, the t-shirts and everything. That is where that is on brand communication, not majorly on branding communication, which is actually key area in this. And then the fifth point is measure, which is a consistent thing, which is if you have already positioned the brand, you can and communicated it, you measure it. In case there is alteration from the performance, you check it, and each and every time you check and amend to make sure that you are in the main core value and maintain the actual brand. And then we're going to look at the branding process. You're going to see on after you create the brand, to know which are your key customers to be able to segment, to position the brand. You need to be able to know the right customers that you're going to be able to target, which are there are various ways to get to segment your customers, to being able to finding which customers to target, which is there are various ways, which is there is demographic, which is the physical characteristic, age, gender, and everything. That is, if you are doing a product or a service that is on target on age, on target gender, this is where you're going to subdivide your customers to be able to maintain the brand and then position the brand again. So it's still on the positioning the brand. Then there is geographic, which is where people live and then what they shop, and if the people are going to are in terms of shopping on malls and everything, you ensure that you give them a brand that is able to suit them. Then also behavioral. Behavioral is on their lifestyle, how people live, and then their purchase behavior. For example, if someone, if you are selling cars, for example, a brand that is selling cars, there are people that they need cars for speed. There are people that need cars for farming, so they use pickups. So creating a brand that, for example, and in a place that likewise you can be able to sell a brand that is on farming. So brand that is able to suit on the behavior of your customers. And the attitude that is on the needs. There are clients that need specific needs, that is, and then that is for a special group of people. For example, if you're doing a brand which is targeting, for example, lawyers, you have to do something that you have to actually understand their needs. For example, you can't give them, always need a class of products and services. So you make sure that the thing that you're building and can be able to reach the right customers. Then I can also share on the traits of a brand. Traits of a brand is the right brand with the right market relate. How do you give the right brand to the right market? Which is, how do you market yourself to the right client, to the right people, to the right clientele? That is. So the sincere type of a brand. You create a brand which is sincere, which is a truth. This is, for example, if you branding, if you're sharing, which is about, for example, an app that can be able to be used by mothers and for kids and something, you have to be able to make something which is related to be a sincere type of a brand. Then there is excitement type. For example, if you are selling them something which is involved of, for example, you being a club, for example, or you doing something which is related to entertainment industry. This is a brand you have to create something which is active and it will be active to them. Then there is competitive type of a brand. For example, if the competitive type of a brand is where there is a number of other services that are in line with what you want to produce. For example, Safaricom and Airtel, they always do competitive branding. For example, if you also see their ads, they do a competitive branding. So they create something which is they want to be better than the brand. Then there is a ruggedness, which is a no nonsense. So sometimes, for example, if you want, an example is if you want to sell something which is very serious, and for example, these activists and whatever they should be to create a brand that they'll be able to be, and they communicate a brand that is a rough brand. For example, there is no nonsense like Museveni branding. So then maintaining a brand. Maintaining a brand is, how do we maintain a brand? If you build a brand from the different stages of building a brand, then you have a brand in the market. You have to be unique and recognizable, being able to be different from the rest, and then be distinct when to sell a brand that is consistent and loyal. Also be sell that is sustainable, and then can be able to change in the example. There is this issue of coronavirus. If you have a brand that you cannot be able to sustain, then there is a technological change in emergencies, for example, should be adaptable to change. And then the connection and coherence. This is making other pieces come together, flexible and inclusive to the target audience. If you're selling something and you don't you give it a different brand today, tomorrow you change it, you have to be coherent. You have to be selling something which may be different pieces, but you give it as a own. And then the universal reach, which is lasting impression to the market. We don't need to relaxation. That is what I have, but I think I've finished what I was going to say. But I'm going back to the branding process. to emphasize on the same on the branding process, which is important to our startups and everyone, which is defining the positioning the brand, expressing the brand, communicate the brand, and measure the brand each and every week. That is the key 5 points in branding. I think I will stop there today because I wanted to use less time as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben. That was an informative session. I've seen someone on the group has asked, saying they have a question. So we were requesting to have all the questions at the end of the session. You can write them on the chat, and then we'll be able to present them to the speakers at the end of this. But as you can see, these are speakers who are able to present well on branding and publicity and marketing. So as we go on to our next speaker, Mwanamkasi Juma, she is the founder of Mtaraza brand. She founded it about 3 years ago. She's an alumni of Moi University as a telecommunications engineer. So Mwanamkasi is a lead branding and marketing specialist with a passion of creating generational and visionary brands propelled by their unique selling proposition. She brings in a wealth of creativity and innovation using cutting-edge technology that identifies current marketing trends to create a compelling visibility for your brand. So Mwanamkasi has a unique background in telecommunication engineering, as I said. Which greatly enables her to use technology in coordinating successful events. So her expertise is vast field of digital content development and marketing, branding, concept development, cultural heritage, visual narratives, design research and writing, and social media engagement. So Mwanamkasi has, for almost 3 years now, she's engaged successfully in planning and managing various events. I've personally engaged with Mwanamkasi, and I know the kind of professionalism she brings to the table and the kind of engagement she will be bringing us. So thank you so much, Mwanamkasi, for agreeing to give us your time. Please go ahead.
Hey everyone.
Hi, Mwanamkasi.
Okay, perfect. You guys can hear me. That's nice. I'm really glad that I presented the last presenter because I did not have slides to share. So what I will just do is pretty much, if you guys can hear me clearly, just let me know that you can hear me clearly because I'm not sure if my background is too noisy or
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, that's nice. So first thing is I would like to agree with what everybody has said. You guys think, like, most important.
Hello, Mwanamkasi. You're breaking up a little bit, so maybe we can ask the members who have their cameras on, maybe you turn them off so that we see if that will help with the connectivity. But thank you so much for joining on video also, guys. We appreciate. You're still breaking up. Hello, Mwanamkasi. Maybe you could log out and then log back in, if that will help.
Because I have switched off my video. That should have helped. Can you hear me properly now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. And then if you can hear me, that's nice. Video, because that helps with the network.
Okay.
As I was saying, when it comes to branding, the question is, it's a few questions. If you have a voice, what is it that you want people to hear from? is it that you want to tell people? You have a face. What is it that you want people to see or know about you? And then you have content. What is it that you want to tell people? Which is most important. Ask yourself as you're growing through, because at the end of the day, you don't want to limit yourself to feel like you're not being productive or living your life. You don't have to figure everything out now, but as you move around and as you're branding or you're looking towards branding yourself, which space is it that you want to start on? What is it that you want to do currently, or what is it that you look towards doing? And network, as our first speaker has said, network with the people within that particular space. As you're reading or as you're learning through whatever that you're learning, be able to share the knowledge that you have. When you read, talk about the book that you've read. What is it that you've learned within the book? Get out there, talk to people, understand what it is. Like even attending this event right now is an important factor towards you branding yourself. This is a networking platform. Make sure that by the end of the day, you've learned something. So the step towards branding is, I believe, it's very simple. It's first of all needs system. Nothing is going to happen overnight. So as you're going about branding yourself, you've already figured out what is it that you want to do. You've already figured out if it's your business, because different colors speak to different audiences. So you have what brand colors mean. What if green, what is it that green means? If it's yellow, what is it that it means? So after you've picked out the nitty-gritties, next is how is it that I'm able to relate? How is it that I'm able to get to the people that I want to? How is it that I'm able to achieve the goals that I want to achieve? So every other time that you're looking towards growing yourself as a brand, I think for me, I would say my biggest lesson, if I'm supposed to speak from a personal perspective, is anything is possible. Coming from a telecommunication background and moving straight into a branding and marketing background, it's just the simple process of taking your audience with you through the share your experience, your knowledge, ask when you need to ask people what is it that you want what are you making about how do we get there? Without knowing where it's so
Hello, Mwanamkazi.
as our consistency is key. So one, it's education, make your content collaborative. Long articles about other people. Yes.
Let me just, Sarah Mondi. Hello, yes. Mwanamkasi, there's someone whose mic is off. She's called Sarah. Could you please turn off your mic?
I think Chaltu, you can just mute them. You can just mute them in case of any noise.
Sorry, Kitinji, on my end, it's giving me the option to mute everyone at the same time. Like if I mute her, it's going to mute everyone.
Okay, perfect. Let me work on that then. No problem.
Okay. Sorry, Mwanamkasi, go ahead.
No, that's okay. No problem at all. As I was saying, and what exactly was I saying? I think I was talking about content. Yeah, I was talking about content. When you're coming up with content that's meant to build your brand, one, it needs to be informative. That's the kind of content that you should have. Second, your content shouldn't be selfish. You cannot keep talking about yourself, what you've learned. Always look at how can I have collaborative content? How can I reach out to other people? How can I share articles about other people? How can I feature other people as well? Another thing when you're looking at branding, look at positive publicity. As much as people say all publicity is good publicity, also need to look at how you can best leverage on the different kinds of publicity that you have. have a speaking engagement, if you have like a podcast recording, if you have an article or a newsletter that you've ever been featured on. Because I think a big question when it comes to branding, when people are looking at branding, is have you ever Googled yourself? And when you Google yourself, what is it that you found? A personal perspective, I think I Googled myself like a week or 2 weeks ago, and I felt like my rating was a bit low because 2020 I didn't do much of collaborative content. I didn't do much of article features with a lot of presentation that I put out there. Every other time when looking at branding and how best to grow your own self or your own brand, make sure you look at every time I Google myself, what is it that I find? If whatever you find is something that impresses, what makes you think that you impress the person who needed to impress? So, and I believe that nothing just happens. Your brand will not just go. It needs to be deliberate, it needs to be intentional. So in everything that you do, make sure there's intent. Make sure that you're looking at, if I do this, I hope this particular people effects within my brand and within my persona. That is what you need to look at. And I think that those are the key takeaways, considering that the rest of the speakers really spoke well with the subject of branding. And if you have further questions, we'll put that. Over to you, Charlton.
Thank you, Madam Kasi. Apologies for the technical challenges, but this has been a great session. Thank you all so much for the wonderful presentations and for agreeing to share your knowledge with us today. So we have questions from the participants. Let me see. Yes, so it's Sarah Omondi. She has apologized for the noise. So someone, sorry, let me see the messages. So Patrick is thanking Liz, Mwanamkasi, and Rotich for the great work you're doing. Mwanamkasi, and Mwanamkasi. And then Joshua is asking, yes, Liz, my question is, how can I brand my company? Say I have started up and would love to say hello, am I audible?
We lost you for 2 seconds.
Yeah, someone was trying to call, sorry. Can you hear me well now?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Yes, so Liz, this question is to you. Someone is asking, how can I brand my company? Say I have started up and I don't have financial muscle and would love to say get grants, investors. How do I put my brand or idea properly so that that's one question. And then now, how can I brand themselves to their boss and see? Or he's asking how you can pitch or how you can brand your idea to investors and financial people. And then on the other end, how you can brand yourself to your boss or to your company as an employee.
Okay, great. So for the first question of how you can brand your idea, just going back to the first thing that we talked about on your unique value proposition, what is that unique thing in your business or in your startup that you're offering, Joshua? Please interrogate that and then come up with a very great presentation and know who, going back to what we talked about, your brand community, who are you presenting it to? And I know sometimes, especially now with this economic times we're living in, it's very hard to fund ideas. Even with that lack of financial muscle, can you start very, very small?